Welcome once again to the daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings, with your host Ram. Well, in today's Cricket Happening show, we all know that the semi-final places for the ICC Champions Trophy has been decided today with the outcome of the Sri Lanka-Australia match, where Sri Lanka were victors by 20 runs, but I would say the 10th wicket stand of the Australians between Clint Mckay and Xavier Doherty not only gave Australia hope but also frustrated the Sri Lankans no end. And finally, with that brilliant catch taken by Tilakatne Dilshan of the batting of Mckay, that really sealed the match for Sri Lanka. But one thing, let's talk about the semi-final placings. As far as the semi-final placings are concerned, it has been decided now. As you know, England would take on South Africa. That would be on 20th. And India will be playing Sri Lanka in Cardiff. So I think that should be a real crunch game. Okay, so now let's look at the match that panned out here. As you know, yesterday I said that it's a very interesting situation. There are three teams in the fray: Sri Lanka, Australia, New Zealand. Anyone, only when the whole match was over, that was the time one could decide which is the team which will be actually taking that semi-final spot from Group A. And today it was Sri Lanka. Well, there was no rain, so that was something very good news. Played at the Kennington Oval in London here, and it was Sri Lanka actually losing the toss. So Australia won the toss, which was very good, because at least Australia knew that they would have a target to chase, and that was precisely the case, because Sri Lanka batted first and had 253 for 8 on the board. And Australia had a target of 254 to win, but in 29.1 overs. And they not only failed to do that, they also failed to win the match. And finally, the victory was Sri Lanka's, won by 20 runs, and got into the semi-finals for a clash against India. Well, just talking about the game here, Sri Lanka were the ones who batted first, and it all started off with actually Pereira hitting a boundary, and then Mitchell Johnson coming in and striking for Australia. In the sense, he gave them the breakthrough by actually trapping Pereira, LBW, as he came forward. It was LBW ball, Johnson for 4 of 3 balls with 1-4. And after that, there was one more wicket which went, and that was a big wicket, and that would have been the most prized wicket that Australia would have hoped to get, and that was Kumar Sangakkara's wicket. And he was gone as he actually sliced a drive from the bowling of Mckay into Maxwell's hands, and he was a goner for 3. So that made the score 20 for 2, and that was the time the Australians were looking very good. The bowling was good. Mitchell Johnson was really showing signs of some good swing bowling, moving the ball both ways. Mckay was also on target, and then it was Mahela Jayawardenes, it was Tilakatne Dilshan, and Lahiru Thirimani was promoted in the batting order today ahead of Mahela Jayawardenes, and Thirimani did a wonderful job. Actually, as you know, Sangakkara departed in the 4th over, so after that it was all Tilakatne Dilshan and Thirimani. Dilshan was absolutely, in the sense, he played an innings which was uncharacteristic of Dilshan, but he definitely understood the circumstances in which Sri Lanka were in at that particular stage and played according to the needs of the game. But as far as Thirimani was concerned, well, Thirimani too did the same. He blocked a lot, but he also ensured that he was keeping the scoreboard moving with some tickles, and as and when he got an opportunity, he was playing the pull shot, he was playing the cut shot, sometimes driving. So it was a partnership which was a very quiet partnership. It slowly started accumulating runs. It was not a good going, I would say, for Sri Lanka, but yes, they had to definitely what they had to do is they needed to really bring the Sri Lankan innings back into real focus, and that's what they precisely did. In that particular period, we had James Faulkner bowling, Shane Watson bowling, but Xavier Doherty was by far the pick of the bowlers. He bowled superbly, and he was the one who actually got the wicket of Tilakatne. The left-arm spinner Xavier Doherty, he was the one who actually brought this particular particular third wicket partnership to an end when he captured the wicket of Tilakatne Dilshan, as Tilakatne Dilshan was trying to actually cut a ball from Doherty, and he was caught by Watson. Watson took a very, very good catch, low down in slips, as he tried to actually cut a ball, and he was gone for 34 or 58 balls with 1-4, which made the score 92 for 3, and then Mahela Jayawardenes joined Thirumaney. Now Mahela Jayawardenes, as you know, he could be a big thorn for the opposition, and even though Kumar Sangakkara was gone, Mahela Jayawardenes was there to pilot the innings, not only pilot the innings, and once he came, there was a real sense of urgency. The runs started coming thick and fast, because Jayawardenes always means business. He tries to play all his strokes. He's not afraid to come down the wicket. There was a lot of boldness in his strokes that he played, and he actually does a lot of maneuvering. So basically he places the ball very well. He's a very, very thinking person, and that's what he was showing. And the other end, Lahiru Thirumaney, he was also just trying to complement Jayawardenes well, and the partnership didn't go much. It just added only probably only 36 runs, and then Thirumaney was a victim, as Johnson, coming in for his second spell, picked up the wicket of Thirumaney. Thirumaney was caught by Watson off the bowling of Johnson for 57 of 86 balls with 4 fours, but it was a good innings from Thirumaney, who really made the ploy of Sri Lanka work, where Thirumaney was given an opening ahead of Mahela Jayawardenes, and he did a fine job. After that, Mahela Jayawardenes got Angelo Matthews to come, but Angelo Matthews didn't do much. In fact, he was really everyone was surprised, because Faulkner's delivery actually went and hit the half bail of Matthews, and Matthews was gone for 12 of 20 balls with 1-4. But the good thing for Sri Lanka was that Dinesh Chandimal joined. Dinesh Chandimal coming in there at number 6 was something very refreshing for Sri Lanka, because at that particular time you needed quick runs, and during the batting power play they had Jayawardenes and Dinesh Chandimal in the middle, and Dinesh Chandimal scored lots of runs. In fact, he was not afraid to come down the wicket and lob the ball. He hit a 6-2 of Glenn Maxwell, and Maxwell was really given some good treatment. In fact, Jayawardenes also played him very well by hitting him for lots of boundaries. But as I said, Mahela Jayawardenes' innings was the one which was very important, because from 159 for 5, this was a very fruitful partnership for Sri Lanka, which added 65 valuable runs, including the batting power play, when Mahela Jayawardenes and Chandimal were at the crease. Chandimal, he definitely didn't waste any time. He was really busy scoring runs, and if you look at his knock, he made 31 of 38 deliveries, of 32 deliveries, and he had 1-4 and 1-6. And he likes to hit over the top, and it was good to have Chandimal over there, and Chandimal contributed 31 runs. Jayawardenes continued to stay there, and Kulashekara joined him, but after that it was all over, in the sense there was on the Sri Lankan innings was slowly coming to an end, and Jayawardenes has to play a few good strokes, and he was the one who actually, his presence itself is something that the opposition fears, and that's what Jayawardenes did. A very classy knock of 84, where as I said, he was not really trying to hit the ball, as he really maneuvers the gaps. He's a very thinking person. He places the ball very well. I always look at Mahela Jayawardenes as another India's Mahendra Singh Dhoni, what he does. So basically that's what he did for, and one will remember that Mahela Jayawardenes was a very successful Sri Lankan captain in the past. So, well, that was what he did, and he played a man of the match innings of an unbeaten 84 of 81 balls with 11 wonderful fours struck in that particular innings, and that was it. After that, Kulashekara was run out for 6, Herath was run out for 2, Malinga remained not out on 2, 253 for 8 of 50 overs was what Sri Lanka finished with. The bowling, well, they definitely got some tap from Mahela Jayawardenes. Mitchell Johnson 10 overs 3 for 48, Mckay 10 overs 1 made him 1 for 51. Faulkner 9 overs cost him 60 runs and a wicket. Watson bowled only 4 overs, none for 14. I was a bit surprised over there that Watson only bowled 4 overs there. Xavier Doherty was the pick of the bowlers by any means, I would say, because he was absolutely good. He was turning the ball too at times. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 30 runs, and he had 1 wicket. Mitchell Marsh 2 overs for 12, and Glenn Maxwell 5 overs, no maiden, none for 26. So 253 for 8 was the final score for Sri Lanka. Now, as far as Australia were concerned, if Australia had to actually reach the semi-finals, they had to actually score at a clip of they had to score at a clip of almost 8 runs per over, but it had to be done in 29.1 overs. So basically Australia's target was 29.1 overs, and they had to score 254 runs. It was a big task. They had some big hitters. They had Shane Watson, he's a very good hitter of the ball, and then they had Glenn Maxwell, who really entertained the public here at the ground with this very sweet little knock of 32 of 20 balls with 5 fours and 1 6, and then they had another hitter, Mitchell Marsh. So this was the lineup, and as far as Australia were concerned, they started off at the right note. The first ball showing the Australian intentions, as Shane Watson creamed the first delivery that he faced from Shaminda Iranga onto the fence. A beautiful extra cover drive, and Shane Watson just got going. But after that, from the second over, things started happening for Sri Lanka. Watson was the first to go, as Kulashekara got a ball to nip in, and he was clean bowled by Kulashekara for 5 of 7 balls with 1 4, and then Phil Hughes joined Maxwell. And Maxwell, as I said, he was the man for the job. After Shane Watson went, definitely all the hope would have been on Maxwell, but Maxwell has not been in form of late, as you know. But today he really showed his good hitting prowess there by coming out of the the power play was used very well, with Maxwell almost making the Australian run rate go at a clip of 8 runs per over, with showing real intention, with Maxwell really tonking the ball hard and in a very, very heavy way, and he raced on to 32 of 20 balls with 5 fours and 1 6. So that was a good part for Australia, because the score had galloped from 9 for 1 when Watson was out to 45 for 2 in the 6th over. But Malinga, as you know, what a wily bowler he is. In fact, he allowed Maxwell to actually score a boundary, but that was it. Maxwell then was caught, as Malinga actually fooled him, and Maxwell was gone, clean bowled by Malinga for 32 of 20 balls with 5 fours and 1 6. So that made the score. In fact, the second wicket to go was not Maxwell. Maxwell was the third wicket to go, but the second wicket to go was Phil Hughes. Phil Hughes actually trying to cut a ball from Kulashekara. Actually, he was trying to glide the ball down to third man, got an edge onto it. Sangakkara behind the stumps actually held the catch, and he was gone for 13 of 10 balls with 3 fours. And that made the score when Maxwell also left after making an entertaining 32 of 20 balls with 5 fours and 1 6. The score read for Australia 59 for 3. Bailey, the captain, joined. Bailey and Adam Vokes were the two new batsmen at the crease, so that was something that Sri Lanka would have liked, because they had an opportunity to bowl to two new batsmen. And this was a real misunderstanding, in the sense, whatever you call it, because Australian innings from 59 for 3, they lost the wicket of Captain Bailey in a very unfortunate moment for them. Bailey got the ball on the pads, and actually the ball actually went to fine leg. Kulashekara picked up the ball, and Bailey was a bit slow off the blocks. If he had really run, probably would have reached the non-striker's end. But what a good throw from Kulashekara. Got onto the ball swiftly and relayed the ball, and that hit the stumps, and Bailey was a goner. So Bailey was run out by Kulashekara for 4, and that was a big wicket for Australia. And it was something that even made Michael Clarke at the Oval balcony really wipe his brow and say, what's happening here? So Bailey was gone, so that made the score 69 for 4 in the 9th over. And then it was Adam Vokes in the middle, and he was joined by Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh, one knows that he is a good hitter of the ball, but well, let me tell you, after just making 4 runs, Matthews had a good off-cutter coming onto him. Mitchell Marsh knew nothing about it. He was gone, clean bowled by Matthews for 4 of 14 deliveries, which made the score 80 for 5. So that was half the side of the Australian side was in the pavilion, and it made things a bit tougher. And now Australia had only one target, because they had to at least make 165, just to ensure that Sri Lanka had to ensure that Australia had to, because so that Sri Lanka doesn't finish on top of the group. That was precisely the case, as Adam Vokes came in, and he stuck like that, stuck in the innings like a rock. He basically didn't play any strokes. In fact, he got his boundaries also pretty late in the innings. And he got a good support from Matthew Wade. And as Matthew Wade started playing well, he was almost playing in the way that Glenn Maxwell was playing, by really attacking the bowlers and hitting fours. He hit one very good 6-2, and he was looking good, and he was also looking a bit threatening for Sri Lanka. And that was the time Australia actually took the batting power play, and he started playing some strokes. But also in the batting power play, Matthew Wade's wicket was taken as Kulashekara came in and actually stopped Matthew Wade, as Matthew Wade went for a high shot, which he actually spooned up the ball in the air. Dilshan took a comfortable catch, and he was gone for 31 of 23 balls with 4 fours and 1 6, which made the score 127 for 6. After that, there was a small partnership. Adam Bowles, as I said, was really just staying there. He was not making much runs, in the sense he was not scoring boundaries or sixes. He was just taking the singles, and he was just playing like a real second fiddle role. Faulkner came in, and Faulkner probably Bowles wanted to stay there because he just wanted to ensure that Australia at least salvaged something by winning the match. But he was doing his bit over there. Faulkner joined him. After Faulkner joined him, he did his bit by scoring 17 of 14 balls with 3 fours. But Herath was the one who actually took up his wicket, as Faulkner was caught behind the Sangakkara. He was gone for 17, which made the score 163 for 7 for Australia. And so what they ensured is that Sri Lanka won't finish on top of the group by actually going past the score of 164. And then Johnson was a victim of Eranga, caught by Kulashekara of the bowling of Eranga for 4, which made the score 168 for 8. And then Adam Bowles was still there, and Adam Bowles, as I said, he scored 2 fours at the fag end of his innings of 49 of 62 balls with 2 fours. As I said, he was just holding the innings, probably thinking that he would be there and the tailenders could give him company and he could take. And probably after looking at what Australia did, one really felt sorry for Adam Bowles, because he was caught by Eranga of the bowling of Herath for 49 of 62 balls with 2 fours. That made the score 192 for 9. And one looked like it's all over, in the sense Sri Lanka are quickly going to wrap up things. But let me tell you, Clint Mckay and Doherty frustrated the Sri Lankan side to such an extent that they were really searching as to what to do to actually break this partnership, because it was a really stubborn partnership which actually added a very valuable 41 runs. And without much fuss, Clint Mckay went on to register his highest score in his one-day international career, 30 of 58 balls with 2 fours. Xavier Doherty was unbeaten, 15 of 37 balls. And it was something which was a very frustrating thing. Even the Sri Lankan crowds were getting a bit restless, because they probably thought that Sri Lankans will be wrapping it up quickly. But unfortunately, nothing of that sort happened. And suddenly the pressure was building, because the target was being whittled down to 20 runs. And suddenly, and that was the time Tilakatne Dilshan was introduced into the attack. And it really took a brilliant catch, a marvellous catch by Dilshan of his own bowling to get rid of Clint Mckay, to actually bring an end to the proceedings for Australia. And then Sri Lankans were absolutely joyous at that they knew that they have reached the semi-finals, because if Australia had won this match, which they never would have, but with this 10th wicket stand going in such a fashion, one would have probably thought if Adam Bowles was available, anything could have happened. Australia might have even won the match. That was not to be. That brilliant catch of Dilshan of his own bowling, bringing an end to the proceedings. But Clint Mckay going on to make his highest score in one-day international career of 30 of 58 balls with 2 fours. Doherty had a good hand, unbeaten 15 of 37 balls with no boundaries, and 233 all out. And Mahela Jayawardenes was named man of the match. Sri Lanka marched into the semi-final with a clash against India on 20th of June. As far as bowling figures are concerned, 8 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 45 Eranga. Kulashekara 3 for 42. Malinga 9 overs, no maiden, 1 for 60, a bit costly today. Rangana Herath 2 for 48 of his 10. Angel Matthews bowled 3 overs for 1 for 21. Dilshan was the man who broke that very stubborn 10th wicket stand of the Australians. 3.3 overs, no maiden, 11 runs on 1 wicket. Not only that, he not only broke that stand but also clinched the victory for Sri Lanka. Very close game, I would say, thanks to that 10th wicket stand. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, thanks for watching Cricket Happenings and your continuous cooperation to this show. I will see you all, I'll definitely see you all tomorrow in my Cricket Happenings show, but it's something different. That's it from me, your host Ram, for the Cricket Show for today. See you all tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye. Thank you.